A couple of months ago, I posted a video talking about why I think it's important for photographers to print their photos and not just view them on the computer, just like I've done with these photos behind me. And just like I think it's important for photographers to view their own work in print, I think it's also important to view other photographers' work in print and not just through their Instagram feeds or on their websites. To that end, I've started collecting a few photography books. It was my birthday last month and I got a number of books as presents. So we're going to take a look at these 5 books here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think it's so important to view other photographers' work in print and not just on the computer. Welcome to Grant Takes Pictures. I'm Grant and I take pictures. One of the best ways to become a better photographer is to look at other photographers' work and really study it, try to understand how they captured the image that they did, where the light is coming from, what equipment and settings they're using, and what decision making had to go into making the photo that they ended up with. To that end, the first book I have here is Secrets to the Stars. Secrets from the Stars. Secrets from the Stars is a collection of 8 articles from 8 different photographers, all doing nightscape photography. One of my favorite genres of landscape photography is nightscapes. I have a number of my favorite photos that I've taken are all nightscape photos. You can see them on my website. You can see a number of them in other videos that I have posted. But it's a really technical and demanding type of photography. And it's great to learn from people who are absolute experts at it on how to get better. So that's what Secrets from the Stars tries to do. It's a bit of an instructional manual on how to take wonderful starscape photos. There are articles in here like this one from Royce Baer on low-level lighting, which uses very soft light to gently illuminate foreground objects on very, very dark night skies. So you can get great star photos while also illuminating the foreground just a little bit. There are other articles on stacking images, which I've done a video on before. You can check it out up here above if you are interested. It will be great to go through, and even on something that I know pretty well, I'm sure I can learn more from reading this book. And the photographs in here are just amazing. I mean, look at these photographs, like this one from the Oregon coast, or this one, this old sawmill over a waterfall. These are just incredible photos. Unfortunately, I've never been able to take anything close to this pretty. So it'll be interesting to read this book and see how I can improve my own photography by looking at what these expert photographers have done. So that's Secrets from the Stars. It's a beautiful book, very educational on how to take better astro photos. I can't wait to read more of it. Now all the rest of these were presents. So we're going to start here with Terraflamia. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's by a local photographer here in Orange County, Stuart Pauly, who does nightscapes of wildfires. And that's what this entire book is. And most of them are here in California. And he's a photographer that I only have become familiar with more recently. With all the wildfires here in California recently, he has been posting some just gorgeous work. If you are interested in wildfires and fighting wildfires and want to see some just gorgeous photos of the destruction that they cause, I highly recommend Stuart Pauly's work. So this book was really interesting. I mentioned that Stuart Pauly is a photographer based here in Orange County, pretty close to me. it was interesting just opening up this book right at the beginning. In the introduction, there's this photo of the canyon fire. And I've mentioned in the past that I've been evacuated a couple of times because of wildfires. And most recently was because of this canyon fire. And throughout this book, you will see these photographs of these incredibly destructive events, these fires that turn other people's lives upside down. But here you have this beautiful photo, this long exposure with star trails of the rim fire in Yosemite. And I mean, it's just an incredible photo. There's nothing else you can say about it. And there's many of these photos, like this one here of the French fire, showing the Milky Way. And going back to Secrets from the Stars, I mentioned that it was some of my favorite types of photography was the starscapes and landscapes with the Milky Way, and to capture these Milky Way landscapes with wildfire is just incredible. And it's just amazing looking at some of these photos. This one here of the Way fire, looks like the Milky Way is just coming right out of the smoke cloud. Probably my favorite photo in this entire book is this one here of the Meadow fire. Half Dome. I think this is from Glacier Point, with the fire in what looks like it's probably Little Yosemite Valley area. And the best backpacking trip I ever went on was into Little Yosemite Valley from Glacier Point, and then from Little Yosemite Valley up to the top of Half Dome. I did that when I was about 12, and it's still the best backpacking trip I've ever been on. And to see this photograph that covers all of these places that I've been and that I have such great memories of, and seeing them on fire is just incredibly striking. So that's Terraflamia. The third book I have in this stack is Frank Lee Ruggles' Chasing Light. And Frank is the photographer who is currently active, who I think most evokes Ansel Adams' work. Frank is a just wonderful photographer, and you open up this book to any page and you'll just see amazing photographs. I almost really don't know what to say about this book. I mean, you open this up and you have this photo here of Canyonlands, and I've never been to Canyonlands. It's one of the national parks that's still on my list to get to. But just the depth and the size of this photo, it feels like you can just fall into it, and it just keeps on going. It's just spectacular. I don't know how to process it almost as a photographer. I'm just, in awe of what is here. You have this photo here of Zabriskie Point in Death Valley National Park, and I don't even know how he took this. This is a photograph that never would have occurred to me. This is midday. I mean, sun's almost directly up overhead. The shadows are so short and the light is so harsh, and somehow it works. The sky is dark, and I look at it and I just have no idea how he did this. And this is something similar to what I see with a lot of Ansel Adams photographs. They are so dark and moody, and there's so much contrast to them, and I'm just dumbfounded about how he achieves such a rich and detailed and beautiful photo. That's this book, Chasing Light by Frank Lee Ruggles. I highly recommend checking out some of Frank's work as well. He does just wonderful stuff, and I really truly mean I think he is the closest thing to a modern day Ansel Adams that we have right now. So the next book here on my list is a little bit of a change of pace. So far all of the books have been landscape photography related because that's what I do most of the time. That's where my interest is, and it's the type of photography that I do. So this next book, Obama, An Intimate Portrait by Pete Souza, but it's a book of everyday life inside the White House. And no matter what your politics are, I think that Pete's work is just superb. That his photographs really capture what it must have felt like there inside the White House during the Obama administration. So Pete was the official White House photographer for all 8 years of Obama's presidency. So you've seen Pete's work. But the other photographs in here are much more, well, as the title of the book says, they're a much more intimate look into the White House. And you get a sense of the feelings and the emotion and the struggle and just how difficult and weighty the job of president must be, no matter who the president is. A couple photographs that really kind of stood out to me were this one here of the president with the White House in the background framed by these car doors. I thought was just a very well executed photograph, and I quite enjoyed it. Or you have this photo of President Obama and Vice President Biden. You look at it and you kind of can feel the relief that they're feeling right here, and the appreciation they have for one another and the work that they're doing for the American people. So that one kind of stood out to me. And then you have photos like this one in the Oval Office of President Obama talking with a group of young adults. It's one of those examples, I've talked about it in the past, where photographers make editorial decisions as they are taking their photos. And I thought this represented that well, that having the bust of Martin Luther King and the photo of Abraham Lincoln with the first black president talking to these young black men and women, I thought provided a really good editorial decision making, or you can understand the editorial decisions he is making at least. So I thought that represented kind of that concept that I've talked about in the past well. Now, the fifth and final book is the one that was the most special to me. It's Thomas Heaton's Landscape Photography on Location with Thomas Heaton. So this recently came out. If you don't know who Thomas is, he is a YouTuber. He is probably the most well-known landscape photography YouTuber. And he's kind of what inspired me to make this channel in the first place. In it is this beautiful inscription from Tom, and just encouraging me to continue with my photography. But it was great to have this nice personalized inscription in this book. One thing that I really like about Tom's book here is his stories that go along with each of the photographs. They're just simple one-page stories. And one of the things I like about Tom's channel in general is that he talks about how he gets where he's going, and it's much more of a story about getting the photograph rather than a technical explanation of the photographs themselves. And he includes some of the technical information. Right down here at the bottom of each of these stories is what camera he's using and what settings the camera was at. But the entertaining part are the stories themselves, and obviously the photographs themselves are just beautiful. One of these photos of his that I really enjoy, partly because it's one of the places I love going to take photos as well, is this one of a large elm tree in Yosemite. This looks like it's probably in the fall. I actually haven't read this story yet, but it's probably El Capitan Meadow in the fall, and It's just a gorgeous photo of this kind of side backlit elm tree in the middle of this meadow. And one of my favorite subjects, other than Yosemite in general, is lone trees. And one of the photo that really got me into photography was a photo of a lone tree. I went to a gallery show of Glenn E. Friedman's photographs, and most of them are the photographs you would expect from Glenn's work, that you had stuff from the early days of skateboarding, the early rap photos from LA. You had a lot of these older photos from the 70s and the 80s in this gallery show, but there was a newer photo of Glenn's right when you walked in the door, just off to the side, big, probably 5 feet tall, and it was just a tree. And somehow that photo, I remember it so clearly, and it was that photo that made me think, oh, I like that. That speaks to me. I want to be able to do that as well. So this photo of this elm tree in Yosemite Valley speaks to me similarly. Like, I wish I could capture this photo. I haven't done that yet, but I think that this is a gorgeous photo. So, the best photo in Tom's entire book is this one on the back cover of Thomas taking a photo with the lens cap on. We've all made this error. We've all set up our camera, gotten ready for a photo, looked through the viewfinder, and just see nothing but black. So I appreciate this photo of Tom, a wonderful photographer, and still leaving the lens cap on. So those are the 5 books I have recently acquired. I encourage you to buy some books of photographers that you like. Enjoy it in print, because you can learn more. It encourages you to slow down and really examine the photos in detail. Have a great day. I will be back next week. Next week is election day here in the United States. So I think I'm going to do something a little bit relaxed, a little bit calming, because it's going to be a stressful day for a lot of people. So look forward to that next week. If you want to get a notification about it, hit that subscribe button below, hit that bell. You'll get a notification for when that video gets posted next week. And until next time, have a great day.